I think I'm gonna start like a little series to kind of rubric my thinking, give me a little bit better direction. Well, an alternative direction seems to me good for me right now. And so I'm kind of like gonna put my thoughts now in the category of under the rubric of behold. I'm playing my mom's song because I've made reference to it. Behold the man. Right now, and that can't be underestimated. Behold the man. Behold Jesus Christ, the man. But right now I want to talk. Behold, Ember and Ash. I have a picture of them right here. That's Ember and Ash. And you can find their story on Paws of Love on YouTube. It's about two grizzly bears. And so this one female bear, who they come to call Ember, she was in the road, and a ranger was driving by, and a python snake in the Yellowstone Park. A python ain't supposed to be there. Somebody must have let it loose or something. But she was wrapped up by a python snake. The snake is crushing her ribs, and then the truck stops, and he's calling for backup and help. Help this, come quick, bear in distress. Like that. And so then when he was out there, then he heard coming through the woods and making a noise, another big grizzly bear. And this bear, I'm just gonna call him Ash, all right, because they gave him names, toward the middle of the story. When they helped him and everything, they gave him names. So I'm just gonna refer to him as Ash, because that's what the male bear's name was that they named him. And so anyway, they backup came and everything, and the big bear Ash, he's a little bigger than the female, but they're both full-grown grizzly bears. And he comes up there. He starts ripping on that snake, pounding that snake, with his claws, and biting it, and the snake is biting him. And then he tore the snake apart, and the ranger was able to help by poking because when the python started squeezing harder on Ember, when Ash was trying to tear it off. And so the ranger helped by sticking the snake, the python, with a poker in the tail, and then she freed up her grip on the bear, on Ember. And so, and the thing is, then Ash breathing hard and everything after the battle, and the snake slithered off. Hopefully it'll die. It shouldn't be there anyway. Not part of that ecosystem. And that's for me. I have to hear myself say that. Sounds kind of off color, maybe, or kind of mean or something. I don't know. But look, I'm just saying. Grizzly Ash, you know, he stood by, and he let the Rangers give first aid to Ember, and he's just watching. He knew somehow that, you know, they were helping, and he allowed that. And then you know, they finally put her on a stretcher and stuff, and so then oh, it's okay, dog, get. And Ash just wouldn't leave her side. In fact, when they put her in the flatbed of the truck, you know, Ash walked over, accompanying them, and they put her in there, and they were going to shut the gate. And Ash put his paws on the gate of the flatbed of the truck, and he wanted to go. So he went with, and he stayed by Ember's side the whole time she was recovering. And they're starting to get worried about him, you know, because, you know, he wouldn't go to sleep. You know, he's just watching her. He wouldn't go to sleep, and he wouldn't eat. He wouldn't leave her side. And they started getting worried, you know, if Ash is gonna, you know, survive, because he's been unmovable in his determination. He's like, his loyalty wasn't rocking. Yeah, no wobbling in his loyalty. I mean, he was there, but you know, they understand, you know, both grizzlies are wild. I mean, they came from the deep of the forest, and so, you know, then they went through a lot of stages. You should watch it. You should actually watch the story. They went through a lot of stages and everything, and but the point is that Ash wouldn't leave, and then they you know, finally were able to put him back out in the forest, and they watched him, and Ash would let her walk ahead, and he's always behind her, trailing, you know, behind her, you know, a little not a big distance, but a little distance, you know, and give her you know, like leadership and space and everything. And you know, it's amazing. I mean, you know, walking behind her, watching her, guarding her, protecting her, and then they would give each other more space, and you know, they couldn't track him so well. They got further and further away and stuff, and but then one day Ash got caught in a poacher's bear trap, and steel prongs, you know, went right down into his you know, around like his paw right there, you know, on his paw, like that, you know, and then they rescued him. All right, and then Ember wouldn't leave Ash, you know. And then Ash finally healed and everything like that, you know, and after about like 3 weeks he could walk again. And it's just a wonderful story of two bears that didn't defy nature, they defined nature. That's a direct quote from the story. They defined nature. They defined loyalty. They defined a beauty found in nature. Behold, Ember and Ash. Well, behold, Ember and Ash. Do it. Look it up on YouTube. And you know, this makes me reflect on a Bob Dylan song. I don't remember what the song is, but I remember this particular line. Behind every beautiful thing, there's been some kind of pain. You know, behind every beautiful thing, there's been some kind of pain. And you know, the people who suffer together, they have the strongest bond. You know, and it's the same way in nature too. Bears that suffer together have a bond. People that suffer together have a bond. And a beautiful thing can come out of suffering. Okay? So, behold, Ember and Ash. What a story, and what a beautiful song that is. What a beautiful piece of music that is. That's Still Point of This Turning World, where the dance is. When they went out into the nature, you know, they described that as the distance between Ash and Ember. You know, they weren't always side by side, you know, but they called it a dance because they were always within range. See, they were always within range of each other, and I suppose, you know, bears' sensitivities, you know, are a lot through hearing and smelling, and they can probably taste in the air their partner, like, you know. And but it's a beautiful thing. Behold, Ember and Ash. All right, bye.